All right, let's dive into some deep stuff today. We're going deep into the Spiritist perspective on the law of reproduction.
Reproduction. Sounds kind of biological, right?
Yeah, but we're going to go way beyond the birds and the bees, like way beyond.
We're talking about the spirit's perspective on the whole thing. And for that, we're turning to Alan Kardec's The Spirit's book.
Oh, yeah, the Spirit's book, like a Q&A with the other side. Kardec, he has all these questions about, well, everything, life, the universe, and, everything. And then he wrote down the answers he got from spirits through mediums.
Imagine that. Direct line to a panel of experts, but from beyond the veil.
Exactly. And in this deep dive, we're zeroing in on Part 3, Chapter 4, the law of reproduction.
Kardec really goes for it with the questions in this chapter. It doesn't hold back at all.
I can only imagine. Okay, so let's say you're Kardec, you got your notepad ready. Where do you even start with a topic like reproduction?
Well, he kicks things off with a question that I bet a lot of people are thinking about today.
Right, lay it on me.
Could the Earth's population, could it get too big?
It's a valid question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with everything we hear about overpopulation and the planet.
Totally. But the Spirit's response is pretty chill. They basically say, don't sweat it, God's got it handled. They emphasize this balance that God maintains in the universe,
Okay, so it's not like a hands-off approach. There's some kind of overarching intelligence making sure things don't go off the rails. But how does that even work? Billions of people on this planet.
Right. And that's where things get interesting. See, the spirits, they explain that the humans we see today, they're like the same spirits that were around way back when, just, reborn and keeping on with their journey towards perfection.
Whoa. Back up a sec. You're saying we're all just recycled spirits?
It is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, right? Really challenges our whole idea of linear time, even individual identity. Like, what if we're all the same spirit, just rocking different bodies and at different points in our spiritual journeys? It changes how we see humanity as a whole.
Yeah, it totally changes it. It's not just about, my personal growth, but, the whole evolution of all these spirits over lifetimes, generations.
Exactly. And it brings up some pretty trippy questions about race, too. Kardec asks about that. And the spirits, they say even the races we see now, they're temporary. Eventually, they'll be replaced by even more perfected ones.
Wow. Okay, so if the spirits are all about this constant journey towards perfection, does that mean that, our bodies, our physical bodies, have they evolved over time?
Kardec asks that very question. And the spirits, they're a little vague on this one. They don't give us a clear origin story for human bodies. Say it's shrouded in the mists of time.
So no Adam and Eve story from the spirit world. But they do seem to say that, different races have mixed and new types of humans popped up.
Yeah, it's like they're leaving space for science to do its thing, but also reminding us that time is vast and we don't know everything.
So we've got these spirits, they're evolving, taking on new forms. What makes us different from, those primitive humans from way back? What's changed?
Well, the spirits point to a big shift. From brute strength to intellect. They suggest that, way back then, humans were all about physical power, and now we rely more on brains and creativity.
It's funny because you could say we've gotten weaker physically, right? We don't have to hunt or build our own shelters from scratch anymore. But look what we've done with our minds.
It is a trade-off, isn't it? And it seems like the spirits are saying that this whole shift to intellect, it's a good thing, like a step towards a better, more refined, existence.
If using our brains is so important, what about all those times we try to improve other species? Like through farming or breeding animals. Is that messing with the natural order of things?
Kardec, he asks about this too. And get this, the spirits say, those efforts to improve other species, they're totally natural. Actually, it's all part of God's plan.
Wait, hold on. That seems kind of contradictory, right? A lot of these scientific advancements, even in agriculture and animal breeding, they aren't always coming from a pure place.
True. There's often some self-interest mixed in. But it's like the spirits are saying that even our messy motives, they can lead to progress. It's in our nature as humans to use our smarts, to explore, to experiment, to push the limits.
Okay, I can see that. It's like, hey, you humans are going to be humans, right? You got your flaws, your selfish desires, but those can also lead to something good for everyone.
It's a pretty forgiving perspective, right? Not about judging every little thing we do, but seeing the potential for good that can come from our actions, even the not-so-perfect ones.
I like that. Reminds me that progress isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's messy, complicated, but we're figuring it out. Speaking of messy and complicated, what about all the human laws and customs that, well, they kind of get in the way of reproduction?
Kardec jumps right into that too. And the spirits are crystal clear. Anything that blocks the natural flow of things, it's going against the universal law.
Okay, so no blocking the natural flow. Got it. But what about those times when, like, unchecked reproduction could actually cause harm to other species, even to ourselves? Think overpopulation, not enough resources, damage to the environment.
Definitely a real concern. And, you guessed it, Kardec brings it up with the spirits. They say that, yeah, we have the power to regulate reproduction. They actually see that as something that sets us apart.
Hold up. So we're not just supposed to let nature run wild. We have a responsibility to manage things.
Exactly. The spirits are saying we shouldn't unnecessarily restrict reproduction, but we also have the ability to make choices based on, understanding, not just instinct. That's a big difference between us and animals.
It's all about finding that sweet spot, respecting the natural order, but also using our brains to make good choices about the future.
And here's where things get really interesting. Kardec asks about methods that prevent reproduction purely for, pleasure's sake.
He's talking about contraception, right? It's kind of wild that he even brought that up back then.
It is. And the spirits, they're pretty straight up about it. They see it as a sign of the body, like dominating the soul, putting physical pleasure ahead of spiritual growth.
So they're not, like, totally condemning contraception, but they are waving a little red flag, right? Like, don't let your desires totally run the show, especially if it means, stunting your spiritual growth.
It's like a reminder. You got the freedom to choose, but choose wisely. Look at the big picture. For yourself and for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered a lot: population growth, the evolution of races, obstacles to reproduction, and we're just getting started. But I have to say, this is making me think a lot. This idea of spiritual evolution, it's huge. What's sticking out to you so far?
It's this whole emphasis on balance, the way natural laws and human choices work together. It's not about blindly following one or the other, but finding that middle ground where we respect the natural order, but also use our intelligence to guide our own evolution.
Oh, I love that. And it connects back to this idea that we're all connected, like our choices affect not just us, but everything around us. Okay, I'm ready for more. What does Kardec hit us with next?
Get ready, because he's about to tackle the big M word, marriage. So Kardec, he asks the spirits about this. Is the permanent union of two beings, is that against the law of nature?
He's basically saying, is marriage even natural? Which, a lot of people are asking that these days.
And the spirits' answer might surprise you. They see marriage as a sign of progress, actually, in human evolution.
Really? So not like some outdated thing we should ditch?
Nope. They describe it as establishing, fraternal solidarity, a key element for human society to advance.
I am listening. So what happens if we, got rid of marriage altogether? What did the spirits say about that?
Well, Kardec asks them just that, and they don't sugarcoat it. Abolishing marriage, they say, that'd be like going back to, the animal world.
Whoa, that's intense. It's deeper than just, changing some social rules, like how we approach relationships, build communities. It's different.
Makes you think, right? Maybe commitment, partnership, or those woven into how we evolve spiritually.
That's a cool thought. Okay, but what about that whole till death do us part thing? Is that really natural law?
Kardec, he asks about that too. And the spirits, they make a distinction. The absolute no divorce rule, that's a human law, not a natural one.
So human laws, those can change.
Yeah.
But nature's laws, those stay the same.
Exactly. It reminds us that we're allowed to tweak our systems, right? As we learn more about how nature works, our laws can reflect that better.
Okay, marriage, it's a sign of progress. But what about the opposite, like celibacy? Do the spirits think that's a more spiritual path?
That's another one Kardec throws at them. And their answer, it might throw you for a loop. Celibacy, they say, it's not automatically a good thing, especially if it's selfishly motivated.
Wait, seriously. So just not having sex doesn't make you more spiritual?
That's what they're saying. Our intentions, they're what matters. Not just what we do, but why we do it.
Okay, but what about those folks who choose celibacy not for themselves, but to, devote their lives to helping others? There's got to be some spiritual cred in that, right?
Kardec brings that up specifically. Yeah. And the spirits, they make a difference there. That kind of celibacy, the selfless kind, that one counts.
So it comes back to intentions. Not the act itself, but the heart behind it.
Like a little reminder that even personal choices, they have a spiritual side to think about.
Before we wrap up, there's one more thing Kardec gets into that, it feels super relevant to our world now. Polygamy.
He starts with a basic question. We got pretty much equal numbers of men and women, right? Does that mean, monogamy is how it's supposed to be?
It makes sense to ask, what did the spirits say?
They seem to agree that, yeah, the numbers point to a purpose in that the union of the two.
1 point for monogamy. But what about places where polygamy is still a thing? How do the spirits square that?
Well, Kardec asks them straight up, which system is more natural, polygamy or monogamy?
Drumroll, please. What's the verdict?
They say polygamy, that's a human law. And it's going to fade away eventually as we progress.
So it's around, but not the ideal, huh?
Seems that way. And their reasoning is pretty deep. True love, the kind that should be at the heart of marriage, they say it can't exist in polygamy.
So more about, physical stuff than a real connection.
Yeah, that's their take. As humanity gets more evolved, our idea of love, it'll change too. And those relationships, the ones not built on real love, well, they'll just kind of disappear.
Wow. We covered a lot.
Mhm.
Population, the evolution of races, marriage, celibacy, polygamy. My head is spinning.
And through it all, this idea of balance keeps coming back. Progress, choices, natural laws, it's all connected.
It's been a wild ride. But this whole conversation just sparked something for me. If the spirits are right and the races we know, they're going to change into something new. What will those future humans be like? What kind of qualities will they have?
It's tough to pick just one, but the whole thing about intentions, it really hits home. It's not just about following the rules or fitting in with what everyone else does,
Right.
It's about, especially with something as big as reproduction, making sure our actions match up with our higher purpose, that whole moving towards spiritual growth.
Totally. Like they're saying, don't just go through the motions, people. Think about it. Make choices that show the best version of yourself.
And it's not just me and you, right? The spirits, they make it clear that the choices we make, they're tied to how humanity evolves as a whole.
So all those times I thought, my choices don't really matter.
They do. If the spirits are right, every little thing, it's like a ripple, It all adds up to this wave of progress, or I don't know.
I love that. Ripples and waves. Okay, but it makes me think about all the problems we're facing now. Climate change, inequality. If we look at it from the spirit's point of view, it's not just about policies or inventing new tech. It's got to start with us.
Yeah.
Inside, our consciousness, our intentions, moving towards a better way of being. More harmony, more compassion.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. It's like the real change, it's got to be an inside job first.
You just rely on fixing things from the outside. You got to cultivate that, what do they call it, that drive for perfection. But what does that even look like in everyday life?
That's the big question, isn't it? And maybe the spirits leave it open-ended on purpose. Like an invitation.
An invitation.
Yeah, for each of us to think about it, explore, find our own way of joining in on this whole, I don't know, this evolution dance. Maybe it's in our relationships, our work, how we express ourselves creatively, or even just how we, I don't know, show up in the world each day.
So it's like they give us the big picture, the guiding principles. But the details, those are ours to figure out.
Honestly, that feels kind of more empowering than just being given a list of rules, you know? I hear you. There's room for everyone to do their thing within that bigger picture. And who's to say that's not how it's supposed to be? All these different viewpoints, ways of doing things, maybe that's what keeps things moving forward.
Like we each bring our own piece of the puzzle. When you put them all together, that's when you see the whole picture.
Exactly. And it makes me remember what Kardec said way back at the beginning of the Spirit's book. The Spirit's teachings, they're not meant to be like the final word.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's more like a map to help us explore, discover stuff on our own.
That's important to remember. It's not about blindly believing everything they say. It's about using their wisdom to, spark our own curiosity. Think critically.
And maybe that's what this whole deep dive is really about. It's not just learning what the spirits think. It's about that feeling of wonder, right? That makes us keep asking questions, looking for answers, and evolving as individuals and as a species.
I love that. That's a perfect way to wrap things up. So, to everyone listening, keep those minds open, those hearts curious, and those spirits soaring. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time for another adventure.